Hello, one and all. It is I, the alcoholic audio engineer, coming to you from lovely, scenic Paju City, South Korea. It is the rainy season, what they call the monsoon season. And we've had some lovely, heavy downpours the last couple of days. This is a quick, fun video just to show you how simple and easy it is to track a very simple song in Cakewalk. We're just going to start with 2 tracks, and this is a whopping 4-chord song. Some great songs have been just 2 chords. Just saying. You don't have to be a whiz-bang musician to do this. I was just watching a video the other day, that great song Dreams by Fleetwood Mac. Technically 2 chords, but kind of 1.5 chords, that song, at least on the guitar and on the piano, if memory serves. So you don't need a lot of prowess on the guitar or music in general in order to do this and have fun with it. So I'm going to use one of my own songs because I want to avoid any kind of copyright strike. So we're going to do a song called Gorilla in the Corner of the Room. Gorilla for short. I can never really decide whether to, name it just Gorilla or Gorilla in the Corner of the Room. Sometimes I like the long title, sometimes I like the short. Okay, so first things first. You can see on the screen here we have our Cakewalk digital audio workstation open to... it's actually not a very big... It's turning into a large-ish mix. Not very big, but I am going to open a new project for this. Let me see. I've got this little asterisk right here. That means I need to save. Just in case. Always save. If you're sure that you want to save what you just did. Don't make that mistake. Anyway, I'm not going to do that right. I'm just going to file new and 4-track. Why not? Just 4 tracks to get going. All right. And there we go. Track 1, track 2, track 3, track 4. I'm going to collapse this these side panels here. Don't need them right now. And just to maximize my viewing space for my track. I don't need, I'm not using effects at this point. Okay, so I don't need to look at those. I'm just going to drag this back all the way until I just see all I really need right now are these buttons right here. That's all I need. And if you're brand new to this Cakewalk thingy here, this is a digital audio workstation. There are tons and tons of highly polished, highly produced tutorials out there to get you going. But this is one that'll show you how to actually, do something and get a kick out of it right away. All right, so fire up a 4-track project. Just some basics over here. If I click on track 1. Over here, that also says track 1. You see that? This is your master channel. That just means I'm doing 2 tracks. One's going to be guitar, one is the vocal. And I can, manipulate them individually in terms of volume and other things. But then they will both go through this master channel as one. All right? More on that later. This is the volume control, the volume slider for track 1. This is the pan left or right for track 1. If I click on track 2, down here it changes to track 2. Okay? I think that's straightforward enough. Now, next thing we're going to do is I'm going to go into, see this button up here, it says Preferences. That's where I set my audio input and output for Cakewalk. Other DAWs, DAWs, digital audio workstations, this is not nearly so straightforward. It can be really frustrating. A frustrating part of the learning curve, just getting started. can be a headache. Not so in Cakewalk. I click preferences, and here are my input drivers and my output drivers. I just want to make sure that I've got the right thing selected. Unfortunately, your internal sound card, your internal microphone is not going to cut it. There was a time when you could start from that, and you'd get a crappy signal, but it was enough to get started and mess around with. Nowadays, you can't even do that. Long story, won't get into it. At the very least, you need this. Can you see that? You can kind of see it poking into the laptop webcam stream here, partially covering my face. You need an external microphone, and the easiest and most affordable option when it comes to an external microphone is a USB microphone. I think without exception, they're plug and play. Just plug them right into your computer, and generally, assuming you're running Windows, but also Mac, and even you see in the background here, the screen behind me there, I'm actually running a DAW called a DAW, a digital audio workstation. Just get used to me saying DAW, called Ardor in Linux. That is my Linux machine, and I was just sort of like playing around with Ardor. And I plugged this plug-and-play USB microphone into my Linux machine, and Ardor picked it up and recognized it right away, and I was able to do in my Linux machine what I'm about to do here. All right, so you can see that my USB microphones, a decent USB microphone, is not out of most people's price range. They're not terribly expensive. You don't have to shell out a lot to get one that will, it may not, certainly not, like professional studio quality, but it's more than good enough for, home audio recording as a hobby, especially as a component of your alcohol addiction recovery program, which is partially what this channel is about. This work really helped me to finally overcome and defeat my decades-long addiction to alcohol. So there's that. If you're coming to this channel as a fellow recovering alcohol addict and or other substance abuse addict, I welcome you with all my heart. And I hope that learning to do this stuff can help you as much as it helped me. All right, so this is why I mention the issue of affordability. I mentioned that with people in recovery, especially in mind, because often, it's not uncommon for someone who has been on a, let's say, destructive trajectory with booze or other things to hit, as they say, rock bottom. That could be bodily, that could be financially, it could be everything, emotionally, spiritually, but oftentimes financially. You may not have the financial wherewithal to go out and pick up a external microphone. Understood. There are other things you can do to kind of get your feet wet with this, without having to, just if you have a laptop, a reasonably recent laptop, or even just any computer, you can get started for free, for absolutely free. So I will be doing video tutorials on those who can't even afford to get a microphone to get started. Here, I've got you covered. I've got your back. I got your six, as they say. I'm going to try to keep it clean, but sometimes I do curse. If you're if you're clutching pearls at the dropping of a few F-bombs here and there, you've probably never been, you probably never had an alcohol problem. So, apologies in advance for any colorful language, but I gotta, yeah, I gotta be myself here. I just gotta be me. That's not always, of course, that's not always advisable, but here I think it's okay. Anyways, so, yeah, and I will be doing a video on what I consider to be the most affordable options for external USB mic at the best price point. That's coming soon. I've got to, I'm really big into mixing and, as I call it, frequency painting. But I need to take a break from all that and do stuff like this. So without further ado, here we go. I'm not going to use this here electric guitar today because that has to go through this thing with the glowing blue screen. That's digital audio. It's an audio interface. That's how you connect an electric instrument, like an electric guitar, to the computer and into your DAW. I'm going to do this song with an acoustic guitar through this here microphone. And then I'm going to sing through this here microphone. 2 tracks, just to begin, okay? And here's the guitar right here. It's a thin-bodied acoustic. Not the best sounding guitar in the world, but I love it. Made by a local Korean guy. I can plug it in. It has pickups on it. Oh, that's the microphone, idiot. You can see it's got 2 pickups on it, but I'm just going to record it acoustically. And notice that I'm not bothering to like point the microphone directly at the guitar, at the sound hole, at the fretboard, at a particular place or angle on the guitar. That is a topic of much debate, and it gets into all kinds of technical issues. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to play this guitar. I'm not going to point the microphone in any particular direction. I just want to get the sound of the guitar in the room. I want to get the room sound. I want to get the string sound. I kind of want the sound of the pick hitting the strings. I want to get the primary string transient sounds, but I also want to get the room sound. And it's what they call reverb. It's not a big room, but it does have some reverberation, some reverb in it. I'm going to capture that. I'm not going to worry about being technical about it. And neither would you be as a new beginner hobbyist, right? I mean, you'd just be jazzed to have a mic and just to have something up and running and working and be able to do this. I would think I would hope you'd be happy about that at the beginning. If not, you must be a very sad person indeed. And if so, that's fine. Work your way through it. I know how that is when you, especially if you're just like newly dry, newly sober, and you know you're used to getting your dopamine and other reward neurotransmitters, whatever, from booze, and the booze demon is telling you, no, you don't want to do that. You want to do me, right? And sometimes it can be really hard to like do things, even simple things. But I promise you, like if you make yourself do them, and you like just take it step by step, just one thing at a time. That's what I'm here for. Just like do this thing, just do it. Can you play 2 chords on a guitar? If not, you can learn. You don't have a guitar? You can probably find one at a Goodwill store somewhere. It doesn't have to be a good guitar. And there's just all kinds of tutorials on YouTube to show you how to tune a guitar and just what to do with a guitar to get started. That's not within the purview of this channel. But yeah, can you strum 2 chords on a guitar? I think, like, even if you've never picked up a guitar, that's doable. You know, get yourself some old beat up guitar, string it up, get it in tune, and practice. You know, work at it for an hour or 2 a day, and within a short while you'll be able to strum 2 chords. All right, so here we go, back to our DAW. I've got input set to Titan Studio Pro. That's this microphone. I've got output set to Titan Studio Pro. That's this microphone. My headphone is plugged into the back of the microphone. Microphone has an output jack for my headphone. And so that's properly selected. I'm going to click OK. Now, the next thing I'm going to do, I'm going to set my microphone input level. I don't want it to be too loud. I don't want it to be too quiet. Let me just put down this guitar for a second while I finish the setup. Okay, so yeah, if the input sensitivity on the microphone, if the input is too low, then the signal that I'm trying to get into the DAW is going to be too quiet, and you're going to pick up too much room noise. Especially these USB microphones tend to be quite sensitive. They're condenser. Most of them are I think all of them are condenser microphones, which are sensitive. They pick up a lot. You know, if my wife happens to be, I got the doors closed. If my wife happens to be in the kitchen doing dishes, it'll pick up on it sometimes, right? So, if the input signal is too hot, too loud, then you're going to have what's called clipping, which you don't want. You don't want clipping. You want something, moderate. Something that we boozers are not too good at in many cases. But fortunately for us, moderation is very, very easy in this situation. What we're going to do is go over here to, I'm in Windows 10, all right? And you might be in Windows 11. You might be back in Windows 7. I don't know. This is Windows 10. It may be slightly different in Windows 7 or another version of Windows. If you're using Mac OS, I don't know. You're kind of on your own. Take the general principle and figure it out in your system, whatever that happens to be. Here it is in Windows 10. I click the Start menu. I click the gear for settings. And I want to go into System, Sound. You can see that my output is set to Titan Studio Pro. My input is set to Titan Studio Pro. My microphone, you can see the signal jumping here. And it says test your microphone. You can test your microphone. Manage sound devices. Click on that. And, well, wait a minute. That was a wrong turn. I don't want to go there. Oh, input. Right. Okay. That's output. All right. Input. There. And, well, I'm not getting where I want to go right now. Excuse me. Brain farts. Okay. Here's advanced sound options. We need to go into there, but first, okay, still not going where I want to go. I don't know. Anyway, here's the important thing. Advanced sound options here. And Cakewalk. You can see that, let's see, I want to set that to input to Titan Studio Pro. And I don't have the microphone all the way at 100 for Cakewalk. I've got it at 85. That's a moderate input signal. That's a moderate level. Good for general purposes. All right. You see, I've got it set to 100 for OBS. That's my video, my podcast recording software. Anywho, I'm going to minimize that in case I need to come back to it. And yeah, so everything should be good to go. But there's one final step to seeing if everything is really hooked up and ready to go, and that is to I'm going to go to track 1. And since that's going to be my guitar part, I double click on the name track 1 and I enter guitar. And I'm going to click this red dot and it says record equals off. I'm going to click that. And now it is armed for recording, and you can see the jumping green bars right there? That is input signal. See the red dots? That's clipping. That is not, we don't want clipping. It means it's too loud, and it's, in the world of digital audio, clipping is bad. Clipping is bad. In the world of analog audio, clipping is useful, nice. It can be wonderful. Clipping is responsible for many of the sounds that you know and love in your music library. But in the world of digital audio, we don't like it. It's not useful. It's destructive. So I double click that, and if I talk too loud, then I clip. You see? If I keep my voice down at this level, at this proximity to the microphone, I'm not going to clip, right? And sitting back here, well, I can still clip. I can still clip from back here, right? Now I'm talking at a pretty, like this is my normal, slightly above my normal voice volume, speaking volume. But, you know, it's a good level. I'm not clipping. The guitar is not going to clip. Not that guitar. This guitar. All right. And so I clipped. So now I'm doing testing. I'm checking. I'm looking for those red dots. So I'm sitting back here with my guitar, and I'm just going to strum the chords a few times, louder and softer, and see if I clip. Clipping. All right, I'm not even hitting the guitar that hard. I'm going to click on those dots to make them disappear. And I'm going to strum a bit softer. All right, still clipping, right? So what I want to do, I am going to play the guitar at least that loud. I'm going to hit it at least that hard. Hang on. I heard children outside. The window's open. I'm not using aircon. You might hear the sound of children playing outside. So I'm going to go back into my preferences here, my settings. And again, system sound, under input, there's advanced sound options. Go into advanced sound options. And Cakewalk, and I'm going to set it down even further. I'm going to set it down to, let's say, 75. And let's go back into Cakewalk and see if I still clip. I mean, this is a reasonable distance from the mic. This is roughly in the center of the room. All right, so this is where I'm going to get probably the best reverb that's achievable in this room. All right. And so this is where I want to be playing. And that's a convenient place for the microphone. I'm not going to do anything special with it. I'm not going to mess around with mic placement right now, although that's also a thing. Just to make this simple, I'm going to leave it where I generally have it for recording my videos, right there on the desktop. Okay, so. And you can see that it's peaking right around -10. 0.0 is the ceiling. Okay, we want everything in minus territory. Minus 10 is a little bit too low for this guitar. I want to be peaking right around between -6 and -6 and 0. Let's say, to be safe, I want to be peaking between -6 and -3. Okay, so I'm going to go back into settings, and I'm going to turn it up to, let's say, 80. Set it at 80 and see what that's like. What the heck, I'm going to go to 82. Let's go back to 85 again and just, confirm that it was clipping at 85, right? Okay, 85. All right. Well, now it's not clipping at 85, so I don't know. Am I in the middle of a big brain fart? Maybe I am. I'm still recovering from Dane Bramage, from my decades of boozing. I don't. It looked like it was clipping, and I thought it was at level 85. Am I mistaken? Anyway, well, let's go to 90 and see what it. Let's go to 100. Now it's like at 100. Surely it's going to be clipping now. Yeah, very easily. All right. So back into settings, and let's go down to 90. All right, 90, and click on the two little red clipping dots. All right. This is actually a better place to watch the meter over here. The view meter is bigger, easier to see. There's -3. All right. Now I'm playing the guitar. Okay, if I really hit it, then I clip. Like I really got to hit it hard to clip it. I don't plan to hit it that hard, but just in case, I want to be on the safe side. So I'm going to bring it back down to 85 and see what that looks like again. There we go. All right. You see, I hit the guitar during this song like that. That's kind of that provides kind of a snare drum, basically. No kick, although I could add a kick drum sound as an overdub. That means an additional track that I record over what I've already done. But that's we can do that later. Why not? This could be part one in a series. We're going to start with 2 tracks today, guitar and vocal. So it's not clipping. See how if I hit it really hard. Yeah, but that's super hard. I'm not going to hit it that hard. So I think 85 is probably a good level. Let's try 87. Why not? 87. All right. Okay, so at 87, if I hit the guitar with my palm slightly too loud, it's going to clip. All right? And I don't have perfect control. I don't hit anything at exactly the same volume every time because I'm a human being with many flaws. So, just to be on the safe side, I'm going to set it at 85. If it does clip a little bit, it's not the end of the world. If it does clip a little bit here and there, not the end of the world. Nobody's going to notice. All right? No shame in that. It's just that if it's clipping a lot, you're not going to like the result. Okay? All right. Guitar sounds in tune. This is standard tuning. There are other tunings. There are open tunings and modal tunings, and those can be fun too. But this is in standard tuning. And I've got the capo on the 2nd fret. So normally the chords are A minor, E major are the two main chords. And then in the bridge there's a C and a G and a D. There's a D. Technically it's a 5-chord song. The D doesn't get played too much. All right, so those chords will be different actually because I've got the capo on. But anyhow, I digress. Now, there is what we call a metronome or a click track. And you can see that right here. I can get a steady click as I'm recording this, so that I'm in time. That's useful, if I'm recording, with, let's say that I just want everything to be to a steady tempo for whatever reason, for various reasons. You don't have to do this, but if you do want to do it, here's how to do it. You can see here that the tempo of this project is currently set at 120 beats per minute, or 2 beats per second. That's too fast for this song. I like this song to kind of it's called Gorilla, or Gorilla in the Corner of the Room. I want it to have a kind of slow, plodding feel, I want it to feel like a gorilla. So I'm going to set it at a tempo of 90 beats per minute. And it is in 4/4 time, although it's a shuffle. Da 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 da. That's a shuffle. A lot of blues and blues rock has a shuffling cadence to it. This is my metronome button. Okay, and you can set the sound of it here, how it sounds and whatnot. I want to hear it during recording. I don't want to hear it during playback. All right. There are other settings you can mess around with. We don't need to do that right now. Just click OK. And let me see. Metronome during recording. This is the toggle button for metronome during recording. If you don't want the metronome during recording, you need to toggle that button off. I think it's on by default. Okay, I toggled it off. On. I want to hear that metronome while I record, and then do my best to play to it. No, nobody's perfect. I'm not always, certainly by no means, I'm not perfect in playing to the metronome. But this is why serious musicians, they practice to a thing called a metronome to improve their sense of timing. So anyway, the metronome is set. The track is armed for recording. If I click this off, the audio signal disappears from the view meter. It's not armed for recording or enabled. We say armed. Now it's armed for recording. I've got audio signal coming in. It's not too loud. It's not clipping. We checked for that. And so now we're ready to start tracking or recording. Tracking is a word that just means recording an audio track. And so up here is the actual record button where I actually initiate recording. Since I'm kind of having to reach for the mouse, this keyboard is a little closer and more convenient. The R key, R for record, that actually starts recording. All right, so I'm going to do the shorter version of this song without a solo section. But there are other things we can do over the top of it later for fun. It's like, normally if you want to do like a guitar solo over it, you'd leave a section for that. I'm not going to do that. But I will post the full mix of this song that has an extended solo and also an outro section. All right. So without further ado, away we go. I'm going to take off this shungite bracelet here. I don't like to have things on me while I'm playing and recording. If I make a mistake, and I tend to do kind of long format videos. I don't do short jump cut videos. I'm not from the jump cut generation. This is how I do things. I'm long format. This is how I like to learn. I like to hang out and, kind of like learn by seeing how things are done in real time. This is how I do my tutorials. I hope you, are into this kind of format and that you have the time for it. So here we go. If I make a mistake, I'm going to stop and try again. This is what real life is like. But I've done this song many, many, many times. It's an old song, so hopefully I'll nail it the first time. Here we go. I'm going to let it click a few times before I start. let it trail off there at the end. I only really seriously get a little bit strayed from the metronome at one point, but no biggie. Perfection is not required or even desired. Hey, that rhymed. That was unpremeditated. Perfection is neither required nor particularly desired. Especially when in the home audio recording situation, you're not, unless you're wealthy and all that, you're not going to have access to real live drums, and you're going to be using, you know, virtual drum machines and things like that if you so desire and choose. And you know, those are machines, and you want things to feel human, don't you? So you know, getting a recording to sound like it was, you know, done by a human being, it's the human stuff that you do on top of that drum machine that makes it interesting and appealing to the human ear and brain. Right, so I'm not going to worry that I lagged behind a little bit here and there. I am reasonably sure that I didn't make a more serious mistake, which would be, you know, a structural mistake, like leaving out a line in a verse, or, you know, just leaving a part out somewhere. I'm pretty sure I got it right, but I won't know for sure until I track the vocal, which is what I'm going to do now. And normally I would, I like to stand when I sing. I think it's better when you track vocals. It's better to stand. You breathe better than when you're sitting. But in order to put this thing onto the taller mic stand, wherever that is right now. Where is it? Oh, it's over there behind the guitar. Not going to bother with that. I'm just going to sing it sitting down right here where the mic already is. And, you know, I'm not a particularly good singer. So, but that's okay, because I'm going to show you, we're not just going to record this dry and just leave it at that. You know, this is the beginning of a long process. That right there was the beginning of a long process. We're gonna, now that I think about it, we're gonna do this up together. I'm gonna show you how it's done. It's gonna be fun. All right. So I'm just assuming that tracked okay and sounds reasonably good. Good enough to start. Let's just make sure that I didn't make like a structural mistake in tracking the guitar part, because, you know, I'm having to this is a skill that you learn. Obviously, I could sing and play at the same time in one track, okay, but you know, I want to separate them because there's more that you have more creative control. You got a separate guitar signal, separate vocal signal. You just have a lot more things you can do with that. That's what multitracking is all about. Okay, so I'm going to disarm the guitar track. Okay, that is no longer armed for recording. I'm going to rename track 2. I'm going to call it main vocal. Whoops, main vocal. And I'm going to arm it. Vocal signal coming in. Now, you notice that there's my guitar part that I just recorded. It's really long. There are the waveforms. I can do this. I can drag it wider and make that bigger. That's for editing. This is all for editing. Okay. This is track view. Track view is for editing, tracking and editing. All right. When I need to see the waveforms and move them around and manipulate them and sometimes perform surgical procedures on them. which we'll be getting into later at some point. It's a lot of fun. Stick around. Subscribe. And like and leave me a comment. I hate to sound like a typical YouTube dork, but there it is. Here we go. Now, there is sometimes... Oh, so you see that it's very long and stretched out. I don't need it this way right now. Don't want it this way right now. Kind of want it all in one window, one square that I can look at it all at once. So to do that, I'm going to click this button right here, Fit Project. All right. Alternatively, now, I'm going to move myself out of the way. Down here in the lower right-hand corner, you can see these magnifying glass icons. Okay? With plus and minus in them. This is for the horizontal axis. This is for the vertical axis. I'm just going to do horizontal right now. So I could, this is really stretched out, zoomed. This is like zoom in, right? Make it longer. I can zoom out. I can just hold it down and it, okay, it zooms out. And there's the whole thing in one view right there. Or alternatively, stretch it out again. And you can really stretch it out. Look at this. You know, you can really stretch it out. That's for surgical procedure. That's for surgery. Right now, just to get it all in one window and one click, I go up here to this set of buttons up here. This is what makes Cakewalk such a nice DAW. One thing I love about it is its intuitiveness. This set of buttons up here is very convenient, very intuitive. Fit Project. Bonk. One boink. Bonk. Whatever. There it is in one click. Now, that's what I'm going to be tracking over. And you're going to notice that this is called monitoring. When I multitrack, I monitor. That means that I'm going to hear the guitar that I just recorded through my headphones as I play over it and record over it, okay? I'm going to hear what I already recorded in the guitar track, and I'm going to hear what I'm recording now, which is my voice, all through the mix in the earphones. It's pretty cool if you've never done it before. You've seen people do it, you know, on TV. You've seen like the singers, you know, in the studio doing this with their headphones on. That's why they have headphones on. All right, so now tracking vocals, there's this thing called microphone proximity effect. You can see that when I get really close up, there's a lot more bass frequencies. It's a lot more bassy, right? And you also notice that I have this thing here called a, you can see this black circle here, that's called a pop filter. Because when I do a pop, that's a little gust of air. Other sounds that we make with our mouths also produce gusts of air. Those can clip the audio signal. We don't want that. That's annoying. So this is a pop filter. It's called a pop filter because it stops those little gusts of air from hitting the diaphragm in the condenser microphone and clipping the signal. All right. So it's useful to invest in a pop filter. Hopefully, you know, a lot of times when you buy a USB mic, sometimes it comes with a pop filter included. If not, you're going to have to find one, you know, separately. Anywho, so, you know, I can sing out here. If I want to sing louder, I'm going to sing out here. If I want to get the room sound with my voice, I'm going to sing out here. A lot of times if I'm singing in a low voice, kind of like if you're old enough to remember Leonard Cohen, I like to do Leonard Cohen stuff, kind of like really low and close to the mic. Yeah. If I'm really wailing away and I'm singing more like in a tenor range, you know, kind of like more of a Willie Nelson range, I'll be out here because if I sing in a tenor range, I can't do it quietly up to the mic. You learn all this as you go along. And again, I'm a terrible singer. You know, I'm adequate on a very good day. I hit flat and sharp notes all the time. It's just something I live with. I have to, some days I have to try again and again and again and again. Sometimes, well, we'll talk about how to deal with these limitations later, right? It's all about working with and overcoming limitations, which is one thing that makes it such a great part of a recovery program. There are many things about it that make it a wonderful component of your substance abuse recovery program. And this is one of them. It's goal oriented. It's problem solving, and it gets you back into getting your dopamine fixes from healthy activities, right? All right. So, with that said, I'm going to go ahead. Oh, I've clipped the input just from getting too close up on the microphone. I'm going to sing it, right around this range here. I might lean in a little bit sometimes. I might. If I'm going to get a little bit louder, I might lean out. This is called playing the microphone, right? You learn how to play the microphone the same way you play any other instrument. The microphone is an instrument. You think of it as an instrument. It is an instrument. Very simple instrument in some ways. A very complex instrument in other ways. Okay. So sometimes there's an issue called latency. Hopefully, I don't have that issue right now, and so I'm not going to have to explain it. Latency is basically a lag I'm not going to explain it now, but hopefully we don't have a latency issue. I'll just be able to sing over this. I'm not going to be too picky about it. I'm not going to do a bunch of retakes. If it sucks, and I'll go back and redo it later. This is to give you the idea. All right, here we go. So I got my armed, track 2, main vocal armed. And again, I let the metronome click a few times before I started in. That's to so when I come in to do an overdub, it doesn't just launch right into the song. I've got a few seconds to breathe and get ready. All right. I forget how many clicks I left, but let me see. Oh, I want right now. I'm just going to arm the metronome during playback so I can hear how many clicks I left. Let's see. 2, 3. I'm going to let 4, it click 5, a few times 6, before I start. 7, 8. All right. And I hit the guitar a little bit late. Oh well. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Begin. Although I'm not singing right away, there's an intro, so I don't have to worry about that. Right? I don't have to start singing right when the guitar starts. There's an intro part on the guitar. Anywho, let's just get started. Shut up and record. AAE for short, Alcoholic Audio Engineer. Shut up and record, AAE. Here we go. I'm going to hit the record button, R, and away we go. And by the way, if I know exactly where I want to start singing, actually I do know exactly where I want to start singing. Right after here. Right here, I can see from the waveform. Here is where you can see where the waveform suddenly, let me expand this here to explain this to you. You see right there where it's big and then it gets small and then big and small. That's where I stopped playing the guitar and then started and then stopped. And right after that is where the first verse comes in. So I don't have to start recording from the very beginning. And actually, I'm going to turn off this. I'm going to turn off this metronome during playback. Okay. I don't even need it for myself during recording, but I'm going to leave it on for you during recording. All right. All right. So we call this punching in. By the way, you can see how every time I move the cursor, it's like jumping a certain amount, right? So I can't fine tune where I want to click it. This is the snap grid button, the grid mode, smart grid. I want that off. So I toggle that. It's no longer in snap. So it's moving more smoothly. I can set it exactly where I want. I'm gonna punch in right before that part of the intro, at the end of the intro, where I stop the guitar 2 times. Do it right there. And that way I have a few seconds before I come in and sing. And you can see that the timeline is, I'm going to call it the timeline. There's another word for it that I can never remember, but I'm going to call it the timeline. That's where we are I'm going to call it the project, okay? The whole thing is called the project. That's where we are in the project. At, right here, 22.29 seconds in. That's where it's going to start recording when I hit R. If I want to start from the beginning, I'm going to hit this little go to start key right here, button right here. Blip. I'm right. Now that timeline is right back at the beginning. I'm going to set it right here. Now I'm at 23.22 seconds. All right. I'm going to set it back just even a little bit further. If I record from the beginning, I'm just going to get a bunch of room noise, and if there's kids yelling outside, I'm going to pick that up. Not that I can delete that easily, but why bother? Plus, well, that's another issue altogether. Audio tracks take up a lot of space on your disc, okay? And so you want to minimize that, unless you just got like huge terabytes and terabytes. You want to be somewhat sparing as much as possible. All right, so I'm just punching in where I need to. All right, there it is. Gonna hit R, punch in. And I'm gonna sing it. I'm just gonna try to do one take and not worry about it too much. Here we go. Well, I have had it up to here with all their fake-ass laws. I am nothing but a walking case of probable cause. Sometimes I think this world ain't nothing but a set of deadly jaws, designed to chew up our perfection and spit it into flaws. When I am plotting my escape, the only thing that gives me pause is that gorilla in the corner of the room. That gorilla in the corner of the room. He's so heavy. He's so heavy. He's so heavy. He's so heavy. Once upon a time I lost a piece of my mind to a flash of summer lightning, almost rendered me blind. I surely would have lost my way but for some friends who were kind enough to lead me back along the labyrinths I'd left behind. Still, when I'm groping for my keys, the only thing I seem to find is that gorilla in the corner of the room. That gorilla in the corner of the room. He's so heavy. He's so heavy. He's so heavy. He's so heavy. So heavy. He's so heavy. His eyes are like... I made a mistake with the lyrics. And you know what? I'm not going to go back and do it all over again. It should have been, I should have sang his face. Do it all the time. But you know what? This is fine because I'm going to show you how to, what to do about this. We make mistakes all the time. This is really no biggie. What I'm going to do is, here's my waveform where I've been, you can see where I've been singing. If you've never, read a waveform before, you can just look at it at a glance. These are the dynamics, the loud and the soft. This is the last thing I sang right here. This is where I made my mistake. I'm going to, zoom in. Again, I guess I'll just move this up here. I'll move it down here. I'll move my camera down here. All right. So I'm going to zoom in here. And where's my cursor? My arrow. There we go. So zooming in a little bit. And that's where I made my mistake right there. Okay. So there's a number of things I can do right here. But one thing I can do is I sort of mouse along the edge and you see that double arrow. I can just slide that over, and that's one way of getting rid of that. I can also, all right, I can also select that and Control X. Or I can go to the edit menu and cut. Cut. Control X. I can do that. All right. So I'm going to do that. And I'm going to go back. I'm going to punch in here where I've already sung. All right. But I don't want to erase this part of what I just sang. I just want to record over it, but not, erase it or destroy it. So for that, I'm going to make sure I'm going to right click on the record button, and I'm going to pick this setting under recording mode called sound on sound. Sound on sound means that I'm going to, the recording is, the track that I record is not going to overwrite what's already been recorded. Does that make sense? I hope so. All right. So I'm going to punch in here with the R key on the keyboard. And I'm going to pick up where I left off. Just take a second here I got the lyrics. I don't want to mess up again. Yeah, okay, I think I got it. Ready to go. He's so heavy. His face is like a coat of honor graven in stone. He never says a word, but he won't leave me alone. His eyes shine like a blizzard on the telephone. Sometimes he tries to laugh, but it just comes out a groan. For he remembers the garden well and the flaming shapes of hell. He's so heavy. He's so heavy. He's so heavy. He's so heavy. Well, it's a sickness I know, but ever since my youth I have entertained the hope of ascertaining the truth. Meanwhile, who knows how many blue moons have gone by, and then poof, I just been chasing dancing cats across a hot tin roof to nab a postulate of which the one and only proof is that gorilla in the corner of the room. That gorilla in the corner of the room. He's so heavy. 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 heavy, it's so heavy, it's so heavy, it's so heavy, it's so heavy. All right. And I clipped the audio track. Darn it. I clipped it a little bit. You want to know how I know? Well, I knew because I could look back at the waveform while it was tracking, and I could see two little lighter colored, needles in the waveform where I clipped it a little bit. And the arrows the dots are there, the clipping dots are there. But it wasn't anything to get upset about or have to go back and do everything. If I was in a professional environment, in a pro recording studio, if I was a pro engineer and making the big bucks and I had all the top gear, yes, I would. If I was a producer in that setting, I'd make the singer do it over again. If I was a singer, I would demand to do it over again. But we're not in that. We're in a home studio recording hobby situation. You're never going to know the difference with something like that. So now we're going to find out if there is an issue with latency. And if there's a latency issue, that's going to mean that when I go back and I play this back, it sounded like it sounded in time when I overdubbed the vocals. If I go back and I play them both back together, I'm going to go ahead and disarm this track, okay? If I go back and play them both together and they're not in time with each other, okay? If the timing is off, then I have what's called a latency issue. And hopefully I won't have to correct it now, but if I do have to correct it, it's no big deal. There might come if it doesn't happen this time, there might come another video where it does rear its ugly little head, but it's not even particularly ugly, and it's just a little head, easy to correct for it. Anyway, let's just go ahead and let's start right before I start singing. Let's start right here, and just see if it's see if the guitar and the vocal are in time. Now, space bar is start and stop. So I hit the space bar here. Well, I have had it up to here with all their fake ass law. Good, they're in time. There's no latency issue. That's because I'm only using the USB condenser microphone. I'm not using the audio interface. It's a very simple setup. There shouldn't be any latency issue because this microphone and most others like it are actually, advertised as zero latency. And, that's one of those wonderful few times in life where there's some truth in advertising. Technically, it's not absolute zero latency. Technically, there's always a little bit of latency because we live in the physical universe. And that audio signal is traveling at the speed of light through all the circuitry. And technically, there is a latency of a few milliseconds. But it's small enough that it's not noticeable. It's not anything that we have to concern ourselves with. So, wonderful. Now, I could just stop it here. We're almost done. This is just how to track a 2-track song. Bang it out on the guitar, bang it out on the vocals. Set your levels, set your connection. So here's a nutshell review. Set your connections. Make sure that you've got audio signal input from your microphone to your DAW. Second, set levels. Make sure that you're not gonna clip it into oblivion. Okay? And then you do it. It's that simple. But just as a bonus for making it to the end, I'm going to show you a couple of things that, this is the beginning of what we call mixing. All right? You can see that there's not very much room sound in here at all because this is a very small bedroom that I'm in. This is my bedroom studio. I have another room where when I want more room sound, I'll move stuff, or if it's late at night and I don't want to bother the long-suffering missus. I call her the long-suffering missus. It's my term of endearment for her. If she's trying to sleep and can't be bothered with my shenanigans, I'll move my... And I'm a night person. I am a night owl still. Boy, that was a big thing in getting sober. Getting through, man, I could get through the day okay, no problem. But when the sun started to go down, the vampires came out, right? That sun starts to go down. That's the time to reach for the bottle. Yep. I had to embrace insomnia. And this was my main method of embracing insomnia. And I still do this. So I did this all night last night. Didn't sleep a wink. Just had a good long nap today. Because with my lifestyle, I'm able to do that. Thank the good Lord above, I'm able to do that. Okay, so not that I'm independently wealthy or anything like that. It's just that's just the way my life happens to be set up. Okay, so before we close out, we're just going to do a couple of little things here to make this sound a little nicer, a little bit, just the first touches of professionalism on it. Okay, this is nothing big, and I'm gonna start this out responsibly. You're gonna learn Cakewalk responsibly. I learned it I learned audio recording I'm self-taught, completely self-taught. I started teaching myself before there was YouTube. And I'm still not a big fan of YouTube tutorial videos because I don't like jump cuts and I don't like stuff that's overproduced and I don't like learning things in little discrete packets. I like learning organically. And if you're the same, then you've come to the right place, man. This is how, and learning by trial and error. And the world of most YouTube tutorials is just, I don't like it. Okay, so, but you're in good hands here. All right. So we could start with something called I'm going to drag this out here so you can see Control Z undo. Oh, okay. Over here. No. Okay. There we go. Right there. It says FX. See that? FX. And I hit the plus. And I've got all these audio effects, all these tools, effects and tools. All right. And I can load them in here into the signal path. All right. And these are called plugins. And the cool thing about plugins is that I can get on the internet and I can surf around. I can find all kinds of plugins. And I never pay for them because you can get awesome plugins for absolutely free. More on that later. And then you're off to the races and you're just you're poking around and digging around and having way too much fun with plugins. And you're not being responsible. I'm going to teach you how to be responsible. To be responsible, we're going to start with the basics. We start with leveling. We already did leveling before we tracked. But even after tracking, leveling, when you've got a lot of parts, then you got to begin your mixing with a stage called leveling. But we've got our leveling basically done here. Yeah, there is you've got to learn a certain way of doing things first. Okay, there is a proper sequence of steps. There is a proper way to, you learn that first, and then once you got a handle on that, then you know where you can bend the rules and break them. Okay, so we're going to be responsible, and we're going to go over here to the left, scroll up. All right, now I forget what this panel over here is called, but it's not important right now. What's important right now is to know that, okay, so I'm going to click on the guitar track, And down here in this channel strip, bottom, it says guitar. All right. And you see at the top, it's got this, it says Pro Channel. We're going to start mixing, EQing, so the first, after leveling and mixing, you've got different tracks, you level them, you make sure that they're, not only that they're not clipping, but they're the right volume in relation to one another. This is not really, this is very, I think the volume ratio is fine the way it is right now. Could change my mind in a bit, but yeah. So after that, we do something called EQing. All right, I'm not going to explain what that is. I'm just going to show you what it is, and explanations later on if necessary. So the Pro Channel. First, let me just briefly tell you something about the signal path. You see this knob that says gain? Gain is like the volume of the signal. Let's just put it that way. That's the input. That's where this signal that I tracked with the guitar enters the signal path of the channel strip and the console. This is where it enters the stage where we manipulate the signal for ultimate output into the mix. So there are stages in this path. The first stage, now I can set my gain. I don't recommend this. Usually we don't do this. We leave the gain at 0.0. If you tracked it well, if you took care of your leveling before you tracked it, you shouldn't have to touch the gain. I never touch the gain, the input gain, ever. Okay, I take care of that before I track. All right. Once it's past that point of entry, it goes into a stage called the Pro Channel. And that's all you need to know right now. Then it goes into other stages, but right now, here's the point of entry for the signal. It goes into the Pro Channel, and I want to go into the Pro Channel and apply a little bit of EQ. That's all I want to do right now. And a little bit of reverb, just to make it sound nice. All right? And then I'm going to finish this video and pick up in the next one. All right, so I'm going to click this button right here. Let me see if there's it says show or hide Pro Channel. I'm going to click that to show it. There's my Pro Channel. I'm not going to explain everything that's in it right now. Just know that it's there and know this is where we start when we start mixing after we track. This is where we start. This is the responsible place to start before we go off into the wonderful world of VST plugins and DirectX plugins and other plugins. This is native to the Cakewalk architecture, as they say. This is under the hood. And this is where we start. It doesn't have all the bells and whistles. It has the essentials, and it does a very good job with the essentials. So we're going to concern ourselves with two things right now. EQ and compression. I'm going to leave that for next time. EQ. You know what EQ is, you know. If you're old enough, you had a boom box back in the day that had EQ. You can dial up the, like sliders from bass to treble. You want more bass, you slide up the bass bands. And probably, if you're an old guy like me back in the day, you were into rock, you did what's called a mid-band scoop. You'd kind of like turn up the trebles a little bit and turn up the bass a little bit. And in the middle, you'd turn the mid-range down a little bit, a little scoop. That's what we usually did for like rock tracks, right? And nowadays in your, let's say that you've got EQ settings in your car. And it's got like, rock, pop, jazz, classical, whatever. Those are all EQ settings to sort of like de-emphasize some frequencies and emphasize other frequencies. That's all it is. And we use that in mixing in order to, I'm not going to explain it. I'm just going to show you. But the short answer is to separate. There's what we call the audio space. There's the space. You can think of the audio field as a space. And sounds can get muddled together. And we want to give them distinction and clarity. We want to give them places to sit in that audio field where they're distinct and they sound separate, like two objects that are distinctly separate in physical space. Does that make sense? If it doesn't make sense yet, it's going to. Here's what we're going to do. Now I am in the guitar channel, the guitar track, in the guitar channel strip. And I am in the first stage of the signal path after entry. I am in the Pro channel. And this, the Pro channel is in different sections. Not many, just this much. 4 stages. Console, emulator, tube stage, just call it tube stage, tube saturation, tube overdrive, whatever. EQ and compression. All we're going to worry about right now is EQ, and for the voice, we're going to add some reverb. And then I'm going to bring this video to a long overdue, probably. No, it's not long overdue. This is the way I do things here. I think it's the best way to relax. And I find that when I learn things this way, they stick. I have a much higher rate of retention of information. So this is why I do things. Not a jump cutter. I'm not organized. Not terribly organized. I will never be a YouTuber. I'm here for you and you alone. And for me. Not here for I'm not here to get my YouTube plaque on the wall. Put it that way. All right. So I'm just going to go into, now there are these on and off, global on and off. That means everything in the Pro channel strip on and off. All right. And then for each individual stage, so this circle with the little line at the top at the 12 o'clock mark, that's an on-off button in Cakewalk. It's a toggle, on-off. And here for the compression stage, there's another on-off. And here for the EQ stage, there's another on-off, right? I can individually toggle them on and off. So first I'm going to turn them all on. Enable all of them for turning on and off is what that does. Now I can toggle compression on or off. I can toggle EQ on and off and all the way down the chain. All right. Hang on. All right. So I'm going to enable EQ. What did I do? Double click that? Yeah. When I double click that, I get, I didn't realize that until just now. So here's where you can fine tune it. All right. But we're not going to do that right now. Right now, we're just going to utilize something called a preset. And this EQ stage, we're fortunate to have. Sometimes too many choices can be a negative. Sometimes too many choices can be a negative. But in this case, they're well named, and I think it's a positive. Okay, so we're EQing an acoustic guitar. So let's look for acoustic guitar settings, presets. And here they are. You can see I'm highlighting them. Now, this is not, you can use any EQ setting for anything. All right. All this is saying is that these EQ settings are geared toward acoustic guitars. Well, these 3 are guitar electric. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 6 settings for acoustic guitar. Acoustic 1, acoustic 2, big and bright, light and high, smooth and bright, thick. So you're just going to go through and see which one you like. For this guitar, this thing is thin, bright, doesn't have any bottom end really. Thick. I might want to, as much as possible, I don't know if I want to emphasize its innate characteristics or if I want to do something to make up for its lack of other characteristics, if that makes sense. Well, I'm just going to try a few settings and see how they sound. I'm going to start with thick. And that's what the EQ curve looks like right there. That's what it looks like. And now I'm going to listen to... now, hang on. How do I back out of this here? All right. I want to listen to it. I want to listen to only the guitar track, not the voice the vocal track. So I'm going to hit the S button for solo. M is mute, S is solo. So if I press solo, you can see what happened to the guitar track. It grayed out. I'm not going to hear the guitar track. I just want to hear, I'm not going to hear the vocal track. The vocal track grayed out. I'm not going to hear the vocal track. I'm only going to hear the guitar track, and I want to focus on how this changes the sound of the guitar track. It emphasizes the low mids, attenuates the high trebles and the low bass. And let's just hear what it does. I can toggle it on and off right here. All right. I'm not crazy about it. It's quite subtle, right? Let me just try some other presets. Smooth and bright. This is where the brightness comes from right here. It's attenuating mids and trebles. I mean, amplifying mids and trebles, attenuating low bass. That's where the bright comes from. All right. Off. Louder. Light and high. Now, I like that much better. Isn't that nicer? Listen. Let me go back. Listen to how honky that sounds. And not very nice. Let this be a lesson to you. This is a big, essential, crucial lesson. This is really something. This is a core principle of mixing. All right? Don't be afraid to cut out frequencies. Like, really cut them out. You can see, look here, right here, look how the bass is essentially being, the low bass is just getting surgical. It's just like an ectomy. It's a bassectomy is what it is. Look at it again. I'm going to hit play. Look at it when I click on it. Look what happens to the frequency curves here. And listen what happens to the sound. Light and high. Ready? It's ever so much nicer. It's not like booming it's not honking in my ear. It's not booming in my ear. That's called taming the signal, right? Didn't sound nice before. It's doing stuff I don't like, actually. I'm taming it, right? All right. Let's try the other settings just for reference. All right, we've got big and bright. Okay, that's actually better too. That's more low key. Also very useful. This is where we get into taste. This is much easier on the ears than the first two. Or dry. Honky. Right? That's so much nicer, isn't it? I don't know which one I prefer. Depends on what I want to do. Anyway, I've got two very nice settings so far. Let's try acoustic 1 and 2. I'll start with acoustic 1. Also, not bad. A/B it with the dry signal. That's also quite nice. Let's try guitar 2. Acoustic guitar 2. I don't like that. Compare. There's no improvement there. So I've got 3 good acoustic guitar settings that I like. And that's awesome because as I go forward, I can, as the project continues, I can keep, thinking about it. This is part of this is the fun of it. And, the EQ that I finally decide will influence, future decisions. Or something that I do later on, I may like it so much that I think, you know what, I like this, but it doesn't go with that acoustic guitar EQ setting. It goes with another acoustic guitar EQ setting. Let me go back. Right? That's kind of how it works. You can go backward and forward in time. I hope you're beginning to see how this is a wonderful part of a recovery program. Kind of gets you away from the... I'm not knocking AA. If you're an AA person, please don't take it that way. I'm just not... I suffered some psychological trauma and abuse at the hands of AA people when I was a very young person. Let's just leave it at that. I'm not in the 12 steps. I don't go to meetings. This is what I do. All right. Anyway, I don't want to offend anybody. I'm just saying, like, I made my amends. I've said my sorries. I'm trying not to dwell in the past. This engages your mind. You can't sit around and dwell on the past too much when you're engaged in audio tracking and mixing and all that. Okay, and you're doing something constructive and productive, and who knows, man? It could lead to, who knows what it could lead to. You might get lucky. You got enough talent and luck and God on your side, who knows, man? It could lead to a new career. You never know. You just never know. At the very least, it leads to a cool hobby and personal development. And maybe sometime you've done a mix that you're proud of, and you're at the bar sipping on your cranberry juice, and you slip a USB drive to the bartender, to an old friend, and say, "Hey, man, stick that on," and nobody's the wiser, because you've done a good job. You've created a professional mix, and it sounds like something that would come on the PA. Nobody misses a beat. I've done that before. It's a wonderful feeling. All right? Okay. Yeah, I digress. I do it all the time. Which one am I going to choose? I think for the time being, I'm going to go with the most low-key setting, which I believe was Big and Bright. But I want to unsolo this, and I want to hear it with the voice. Well, I have had it up to here with all... The voice is still too big for that. I can't hardly hear the guitar. Look how much is being scooped out of the signal. Okay? So for the time being, I need a setting that's a bit louder. I'm going to go with light and high. Let's hear them together. Well, I have had it up to here with all the fake-ass laws. I am nothing but a walking case of problem. You can hear now how I call this a woolly sound. Listen to how that both the raw tracks have a woolly sound. I call it the woolly sound. And what that woolly just means, unfiltered. Think of like your favorite craft beer before you stop drinking. Like a Weizen or something. And it's unfiltered. It's cloudy. Right? Like a Hefeweizen. I shouldn't be talking about booze in a recovery podcast, whatever. But it is a good example, right? It's unfiltered. It's kind of cloudy. Woolly. I call it woolly. Listen to the wool fall off of the guitar track. I'm going to disable the EQ setting over here. Listen to I'm just going to shear that wool right off. When I click that button, listen. Well, I have had it up to here with with all their fake ass flaws. I am nothing. You see, you hear how that guitar has its own place now? Like it's so, like it moved into a different dimension, right? Okay, so that's just gonna leave it there now for the guitar. That's where I'm going with the guitar. Oh, what the heck? I'll try it with the other EQ setting I liked. Why not? So preset and the first one, acoustic 1. Okay, let's listen to it with acoustic 1. Well, I have had it up to here with all their fake ass. Listen to the wool disappear. I am nothing but a walking case of probable cause. Sometimes I think this world ain't nothing but a set of deadly jaws designed to chew up our perfection and spit it into flaws. When I am plotting my escape, the only thing that light and high pause is that gorilla in the corner of the room. Okay, I like light and high. For now. It just goes with the voice better for now. That could change later on. Lots of things can change. But just for now. Now I'm going to go to, well, should I? Okay, I'm going to show you the most basic thing with the voice. I'm just going to do the same thing with the voice. All right? I'm going to stay in the Pro channel. But I'm going to click on my main vocal channel over here. Click, and you see how it's changed. Now we're in the main vocal. We're in the Pro channel of the main vocal. Down at the bottom of it, I scroll up. There's my EQ. All right? And the global on-off is off, so I got to toggle that on. Go down to my EQ. Toggle that on. Now the EQ changes I make are going to be applied to the main vocal. On the vocal track, main vocal track. And I go into my presets and look at all the presets I have for vocals. Lots to choose from. Look, I got 3 for male. Well, I'm a male. You know, I don't want to try all of them right now. You know, I'm going to try more of them at some point, but for right now, I'm just doing a very rough mix. I'm just starting out. I've also got vocals smooth and warm. I'm going to confine myself to male 1, 2, 3, smooth and warm lead. All right, let's see which one I like most. I'm going to start with male 1. You can see that it's attenuating these low bass frequencies, which we don't need. And it's also, this is the human voice frequency range. It's enhancing certain frequency bands up here. Here we go. I'm not going to solo it this time. I'm just going to listen to it with the guitar, and let's toggle it on and off. I'll start off and I'll toggle it on. Well, I have had it up to here with all their fake ass laws. You really got sharper and cleaner, more distinct. A walking case of probable cause. Sometimes I think this world ain't nothing but a set of deadly jaws designed to chew up our perfection. Hear that? All right, let's try male 2. Similar roll off on the low bass, a little bit more enhancement in the mid-range. Let's hear it. Well, I have had it up to here with all their fake ass laws. I am nothing but a walking case of... Similar to the first one, a little bit more mid-rangey, a little bit more honky. Let's try male 3. Okay, no low bass roll off, a dip in the low mids, and enhancement in the mid mids, 3,000 roughly. Let's see what it sounds like. Well, I have had it up to here with all their fake ass laws. I am nothing but a walking case of... I rather like that. I don't want to, I don't like the bass roll off in this case. I'm only dealing with an acoustic guitar, and that acoustic guitar, that particular guitar doesn't have a lot of bass in it. Okay. It's quite trebly. And I'm providing some nice bass with my vocal. bass frequencies with my vocal that the acoustic guitar is not providing. If this was like a really big bodied acoustic guitar and it had a big bottom end, then the bass frequencies from the low bass frequencies from my voice would be fighting for space with the low bass frequencies from the acoustic guitar. Okay, and then I might have to make a decision. Which one do I like better? Do I like the bass frequencies from my voice, or do I like them from the guitar? Or there's other ways to look at it and think about it. Okay, all kinds of things. But we're beginning here. Okay, so the first thing you can do is just like take one and attenuate that range in it. Take it out or cut it out, right? And make space for the other. Take the bass frequencies out of the guitar, make space for the bass frequencies in the voice, or vice versa. Okay, so I like this one the best so far out of the three, but I'm going to go ahead and try smooth and warm. What does that look like? I don't think I'm going to like that. Well, I have had it up to here with all... Say be it. Well, I have had it up to here with all their fake-ass laws. I am nothing but a walking case of probable cause. Sometimes Okay, one more to try. And that is warm lead. And that is an actual enhancement of those bass vocals. And a minor enhancement in the... Now I can adjust this. This is all adjustable, all right? But right now I'm just using presets for simplicity and because this video is going on long enough and I'm trying to just get the basics down, all right? We're just doing a really quick mix so it'll sound nicer as we go ahead, all right? It'll just like tracking over it, it sounds nicer. It's a little bit more inspiring than listening to woolly, raw audio signal. It's inspiring. You want it to sound a little bit inspiring, right? Okay. So presets are good enough. Let's see how this sounds. This is off. Well, I have had it up and on here with all their fake ass laws. I am nothing. I'm going with what am I going with? Male 2. Well, I have had it up to here with all their fake ass laws. I am nothing but a walking case of probable cause. Sometimes sounds balanced. Going with that. Okay, so we've EQ'd both tracks, and again, let's toggle the global on and off, both EQs on and off, and you can hear the diff back and forth. So now when we listen to everything together, even though it's only 2 tracks, we're listening to the whole mix. All right? And by the way, okay. Let's do this. Okay. Well, I have had it on here with all their fake ass laws. I am nothing but... Oh, wait a minute. Hang on. All right. Global on off. All right. Well, I have had it up to here with all their fake ass laws. I am nothing but a walking case of probable cause. EQ off. I think this world ain't nothing but a EQ on. Deadly jaws designed to chew up our perfection and spit it into flaws. When I am it's subtle, but it's nice. The only thing that gives me pause is that gorilla in the corner of the room. That gorilla in the corner of the room. He's so heavy. All right, just took off a little of the woolliness, okay? It's not too extreme, it's not too subtle, but it makes a little difference. Now we're going to apply some chorus, or not chorus, reverb. All right, and rather than doing it, I applied EQ individually. I applied EQ to the guitar, and then I applied EQ to the vocal because the EQs were going to be different. Okay, but I want to apply the same reverb to both. So to emulate the sound of one guy playing and singing at the same time in the same room with the same reverb. Okay, and so to do that, this is the last thing before I finally finish this. You're learning a lot in this. I didn't intend to go this far, but I think this is appropriate. We're going to stop at reverb, but I'm going to show you something called a bus. When I have two tracks and I want to apply the same thing to both of them, but I don't want to go through the hassle of doing the same thing, repeating the same operation, doing the same thing to both of them, or even more than two. I'm going to run them both through a bus channel. So I only have to apply those settings one time. Both signals kind of make a detour into that in the signal path. They make a detour into that bus channel. They get the same treatment, okay? And then they go back individually to their respective signal paths. They kind of like meet up to get, it's like, you get the idea. I don't need to use an example. All right, so here's what I'm going to do. This is called track view. I'm going to go into something called console view. I'm not going to explain all the details of it right now. Just see what it looks like and try to remember it. I'm going to go into the views menu, console view. See that? Okay, now we're in console view. Here's a toggle for console view down here. And this is collapse. Console view is collapsed. It says expand. Console view is back. All right. And right here, what do we have? Same thing. Guitar, but now it's vertical and not horizontal, and I don't see the audio waveform. So this view is not for editing. Okay, this is for mixing. This is the mixing console. And this is where the interface is best geared toward this workflow. All right. So we've got guitar here and main vocal here. This is our volume slider. This is our pan knob. These are mute solo buttons. And if we scroll up, our pro channel settings right there. There's our EQ settings in the pro channels. Okay. Now over here to the right. Now I can just drag this over here just to make it convenient. All right. I've got my master channel. I got my metronome channel. I don't need these right now. I'm just going to right click and delete bus. Right click. Oops. Right click. Delete bus. Okay, here's the master channel. Both of these tracks are going through the master channel. Just to demonstrate that for you, I'm going to hit play. Well, I have had it up to here with all their fake. I turn guitar down. Laws. I am nothing but a
still hear the voice.
Case of probable cause. Sometimes I think this world ain't nothing.
Or just mute guitar.
Of deadly jaws.
I only hear voice. Mute voice. I only hear guitar. Over here in the master, if I reduce the volume, they both go down. All right. Similarly, I could pan the guitar to the left. I could pan the voice to the right.
He's so heavy. He's so heavy.
And we've got something called stereo separation. It already sounds a little bit nicer, doesn't it? So that's one other thing I was going to do before the reverb is give it a little bit of separation. But click, click, double click, I'm back to zero. Click, I'm back to zero. That's dead center. If I go over here to the master channel and turn the pan knob, listen what happens.
Well, I have had it up to here.
The whole mix goes to the left ear. They both go to the left ear. They both go to the right ear. Get the idea? If this is all old hat to you, sorry, but I'm gearing this towards absolute beginners who need this like they need it like they need a what do you call those? A flotation device in the middle of the ocean when the boat is sinking. All right. So if you already know all this and you're bored, go watch something else. Okay, not to be rude, but come back later. I got interesting stuff. Trust me. Okay, so anyways. All right. Yeah, I'm going to just provide some panning to separate these two. Give them some distinction in the audio field, some left and right distinction. Now there's also like back and forward, space 2, and up and down. It's 360. That's going to come later. All right. For now, we're just dealing with EQ and panning. So I'm just going to EQ the I'm going to put the guitar off to the left, like let's say 15. Just a little bit of separation. 15. I can dial it in. Oh, I can't dial that in. Click, 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 click. Oh, there must be. Okay. So I got to futz around with the mouse. All right, and voice to the right, 15. Let's hear how that sounds.
Well, I have had it up to here with all their fake-ass laws. I am nothing but a walking case.
Just a little separation there. It's not permanent, just for now. Actually, I'm going to turn the main vocal down to like minus 1.7 too.
Well, I have had it up to here with all their fake ass.
Now they're more evenly balanced. All right, so we're going to make our bus channel. I'm going to right-click, insert stereo bus. So think of it, it's like a bus, right? Does just one person ride a bus? No, at least there, most of the time there's at least two. Anyway, a bus is made to carry more than one person, right? This is a bus. I'm going to name the bus Reverb. Reverb. And over here, I'm going to minimize that. I'm on the reverb bus over here. Now I'm going to click on guitar. Right there it says guitar. Sends. You see where it says sends? That means it's just gone through the Pro Channel stage, technically past the effects stage. At this stage, this is the send stage. Here is where I send the signal over here to the bus to be processed by the reverb, and then back here again to then continue through its own individual path. So I click send. I choose reverb. There's the master channel. I choose reverb. Okay. Now it's sending the signal that's already been EQ'd, sending it over here to the reverb bus to be processed by the reverb. Okay. And there's a level knob, but don't worry about that right now. Don't have to worry about that right now. Now I'm going to click on main vocal, and I'm going to do the same. Sends. Reverb. Now, both of these are getting sent into the same channel to receive the same processing, which is reverb. And for that reverb, whoops, watch that when you scroll up and down. If you're over a slider or button, the scroll knob on your mouse will affect that. So it's an annoying thing. When you use the scroll wheel on the mouse, make sure that you're away from a slider or anything else that can be affected by it. Okay, so go over here, and I scroll up. And all right. Actually, what I'm going to do is go down here. I'm going to select my reverb bus. Over here on the left, reverb bus. I'm going to go up here. And once again, I'm going to click this, show, hide, Pro Channel. This is my Pro Channel for the reverb bus over here. And I don't have reverb in the Pro Channel right now. So I'm going to add it. Plus, here's the plus button, add module. Left click. And Reverb 2. There is a reverb processing module right there. Processing reverb effect. I'm going to left click that. And there it is at the end of my Pro Channel signal path right there. And I'm just going to, it's got a lot of settings in it, a lot of presets. I'm just going to go with one that I happen to like, which is called Cathedral. So I click on the presets, Cathedral. I know the settings I like. I like the wet down to about -7, 7.5. Okay. And click outside of the windows here, like that. Just that dialing the wet down to about -7.5. We'll see how it sounds. Anyway, as you can see, the global on-off is applied. Now I'm gonna hit play, and we should hear reverb applied to both of those tracks. Ready?
Well, I have had it up to here with all their fake ass laws. I am nothing but
Hear the reverb decay? You can hear it trail off when I hit the space bar.
Well, I have had it.
Now it's a bit big, and one thing that you also do in mixing to separate things and give them distinct sounds and spaces is to give them different reverbs. Okay, I could apply different reverbs to. I could apply one reverb setting to the guitar and one reverb setting to the vocal. I'm just trying to show you two things: how to bus, which is something that you need to know from the get-go. It improves workflow. It saves processor power. It's just a good thing to know. And it's only 2 tracks, and I just kind of wanted to make it sound like it was recorded in a empty bus station lobby, let's say, with one guy in there, or whatever, airplane hangar, whatever it is. Let's listen to it again.
Well, I have had it up to here with all their fake ass laws. I am nothing but a walking case of probable cause. Sometimes I think this world ain't nothing but a set of deadly jaws designed to chew up our perfection and spit it into flaws. When I am plotting my escape, the only thing that gives me pause is that gorilla.
That's the room size. I just tweaked the room size knob. You can tweak things, get the setting that you like. That's part of the appeal and the fun. That's where you kind of like get lost in it. This is frequency painting. This is the beginning of frequency painting. Right now we're just finger painting. But finger painting it's all good, man.
Well, I have had it up to here with all their fake ass laws.
That's just like a broom closet.
Well, I have had.
That's a slapback reverb. It's called slapback.
Well, I have had it up to here with all their fake ass laws.
Nothing wrong with that. People use it all the time. Okay? Doesn't sound bad, actually. Let's bring it up just a little more.
Well, I have had it up to here with all their fake ass laws.
It's like your bathroom sound. It's a bathroom sound. Why not? Let's go with the bathroom sound.
Well, I have had it up.
How about a big bathroom? A big bathroom. A nice hotel bathroom, but without carpeting.
Well, I have had it up to here with all their fake ass laws. I am nothing.
That's good enough for now. We've gone on long enough. If you've stuck it all the way through and, you might have to go through and watch again, but hopefully you've absorbed a lot and you're able to, pick up what I've showed you and, go do it your own way with your own thing. All right. I've refrained from vaping or sipping on anything this whole time. Normally I'm sipping on my Zero Cola, Coke Zero is too expensive. They've got a no brand version that much cheaper. I actually like the taste better. And it doesn't have aspartame in it. I hate aspartame. It's got sucralose and erythritol and one other sweetener. It tastes really good. Not like back in the day when Diet Coke used to taste terrible. Normally I'm sipping on that and I'm tugging on some nicotine. I haven't given up the nicotine. But I've refrained from that throughout this video. And I shall until the end. Okay, that's it for now. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you got something out of it. And I'm going to think about it some and come back. This will be a playlist. I don't know what I'm going to call it yet, but it will be a playlist. And I'm going to think about what I want to do next. I'm going to add something. Going to continue the process. We're going to make this into something. All right. All right. If you are an alcoholic or any other kind of substance abuser, and you are either in cessation and recovery, or you're contemplating it, or maybe you've been in it and you've stumbled and fallen, I'm not going to get emotional, but hey, man, if you made it to this channel and at some future point in time from this recording, you're somewhere in the future, you're sitting right here with me at this moment. I'm not going to repeat all the platitudes, but you're not alone, and you're worth something more than you can possibly imagine, fathom, when the vampire's got his teeth in you. Don't let that vampire, don't let him get a foot in the door. Stick it out, man. Stick it out. That's why I'm making these videos, because I want to provide a hangout, a place where you can go and hang out for a while without jump cuts and without, the typical, what's the word? Hurry. Place to relax and hang out with somebody who's been through it. Still go through it some nights. Gotten much better at riding it out. That's what I'm here for. You stick with me, you're going to be doing stuff that makes you happy and proud of yourself. No matter if you might be feeling horrible about yourself right now, it's okay. Just, you might feel horrible about things. You might feel really down on yourself. You might have a lot of negative emotions eating at you right now. Here's a trick: detachment. It's easier if you're a male. There are differences between men and women in general. Generally, this is easier for men. You might feel horrible, but you don't have to feel horrible about feeling horrible. And if you're a dude, that's going to make a sense to you immediately. That hurts. One thing that finally got me dry was breaking my hand and having surgery with pins and snapping my fingers. Still not totally healed. It's going to take a long time to heal that. Years, probably. Anyways, like, you get it like that. You don't have to feel... You might feel like shit, but you don't have to feel like shit about feeling like shit. You can kind of step back from feeling like shit and go, yeah, man, I feel like shit. That's really something, how much shit I feel like. Wow. Jeez, that's nasty. You just kind of like look at it like the dog took a big dump all over the bathroom floor. Yeah, wow, that's pretty nasty. Yeah. Don't identify with it. It's not your shit. It's unpleasant. You got to deal with it. Got to clean it up, but you don't identify with it. It's the same with your, Again, there's all different kinds of ways of dealing with things. This is my way of dealing with it. All right? Have you fucked up and done stuff you're not proud of? Yeah. Can you get over it in an instant? No. Other people are going to get over it. Some will never get over it. That's on them. You make your amends, you move on. Find other shit to do. Then think about it. Don't wallow in it. Do this. Take that energy and put it into this. I promise you, you'll be richly rewarded. You'll be proud of yourself again. Take that from the alcoholic audio engineer. Take that from AAE. I gotta say, AAE, that's hard to say. It doesn't exactly roll off the throat. Roll off the throat. Okay. Usually I do more of this kind of like joking around. So usually I chuckle and laugh more, but I really wanted to soldier through this, which I did. And now I'm having a little laugh at the end. How long has this gone on? Wow, more than 2 hours. God. Nobody's ever going to watch this except for people who really, really, really fucking need it. And I'm going to find you. I'm going to find your asses. I'm not relying on no YouTube algo. I'm not relying on the algo. You get on the internet, you start trying to... I can just throw shit like this in at the end or whatever. If you're into it, you can stick around. Listen to me say my final piece, you know. Like when I got out, when I went sober, you know, and I'm watching these YouTube guys on YouTube, and you know, I'm sober and I'm, you know, I don't know, getting up there telling their horror stories, laying their whole lives bare. You know, I'm saving souls in Jesus' name. Okay, well, good luck with that. I'm saving my own ass first. I'm not going to be one of those guys getting up on YouTube. No siree, not me. No way. But then, you know, the still small silent voice of God spoke to me one day and said, "Hey, I let you." He did. Not going to get emotional. But he did. He let me through. I'm not like a Bible thumper kind of guy at all. Okay? But I've been through the valley. And I got the guiding hand. And I came out into the realms of frequency. Yeah. So that's why I started this channel, and like, shit, how, you know, there's guys on it, you know, here's like a black African somewhere in the Congo in his backyard with chickens running around and goats, and he's talking about how he thinks that you know, the Gnostic view of the universe is correct, and we've been born into a hell realm, a prison planet. And you know, he's got like 67,000 subscribers and 300 comments. Just an hour of this black African guy in his backyard in the Congo talking about the demiurge, Yaldabaoth, and the Gnostic view of reality. Just like, okay, how do I get 67,000 subscribers? Not that I want that many, but it's just like, how do you get this shit going? How did you do it? So I'm looking for tips and tricks, and it's just all how to be algo. You know, I'm making this term up, but this is what it is. How can you too can be algo adjacent. follow these tips and tricks. You know, you type it into the Brave browser and you get the AI assisted response, and the AI is just telling you the bullet point of all the steps and procedures of how to optimize your videos for the YouTube algorithms. And it's just like, oh, it's it's hell. You know, it's just another, it's just techno hell. So I've got other strategies. I'm gonna reach out and find you guys. And I'm going to, with God willing, I'm going to point you the way, and I'm going to lead you over here. And I'd like an intimate crowd of dedicated minds and hearts and souls. I'd like us to know each other personally. I'd like this to be a group conversation. It just happens to be hosted on YouTube. I could also put it on BitChute, Rumble, whatever. Odyssey, whatever. Just starting out on YouTube because that's what you do, right? You stick up a YouTube channel and you just start. So that's what I'm doing. All right. So I just thought of a new strategy to go out and find you guys. That YouTube algo ain't gonna do it for me. Even I can put in all the, you know, hashtag this, and you know, I tag it. I tag every video. You know, alcoholics, recovery, and you know, it just doesn't. It's not going to do it. I got to go out and find you guys. That's what I'm going to do. Again, God willing, with God's help, I'm going to find you guys. Point you the way over here. Who knows? Maybe there'll be, you know, one of you that's a real audio engineer. Like, you got paid to do it. And you've had training. Geez, wouldn't that be something? Then, you know, you could teach me. Lord knows I need it. It's like the blind leading the blind here. I just happen to be, you know, through a lot of trial and error. You know, I know my way around the DAW. And I've achieved some really nice, I've achieved some mixes that I'm quite proud of. So that's enough for now. If you made it this far, thanks for being here. My heart goes out to you. It really does. That's it from the Alcoholic Audio Engineer over here in lovely, scenic Paju City, South Korea. And I will be showing you around some local color. I already have posted some of that on the channel. There was a drive I did listening to a mix in the car at night. And I went into a supermarket and showed the booze section, how obscenely cheap booze is. Not all booze, but Korean booze, soju. Just had to show you that. You look in the channel, you'll find it. And you get to see my rabbit. Okay. Much love. Peace from Paju. Over and out.